Hello everyone, and welcome to the Present Perfect Tense Part 3. In this video, I'll explain even more uses of the present perfect tense. Are you ready? Okay, listen to this conversation. When are you going to do your homework? I've already done it, Dad. When did you do it? I did it an hour ago. Now let's look for the present perfect tense. First, the dad says, when are you going to do your homework? By asking this question, the dad is asking his son if he did his homework or if he had done it yet. He's not asking for a specific time. He just wants to know if it has been done yet. And this is a very common way to ask a question about something that may or may not have happened before now. Then his son replies, I've already done it, Dad. He's using the present perfect here because he's talking about an activity, his homework, that he did in the past at an unspecified time. In the next part of the conversation, the dad says, when did you do it? The dad is asking for a specific time in the past that the action, in this case it's the son's completed homework, was done. And notice how he asks. He says, when did you do it? You see that? So he's asking for a specific time in the past that the action, the completed homework, was done. And then the son follows up and replies, I did it an hour ago. Now you see, he uses the simple past tense, did, when he says, I did it an hour ago. It was completed an hour ago, and that's why he uses the simple past. Now let's summarize the situation here. So when can we use the present perfect tense? When we are talking about an activity or situation that occurred or did not occur before now at some unspecified time in the past. Just like the conversation I just explained where the dad asks his son, when are you going to do your homework? As I said before, this is a very open question, okay? When are you going to do it? Did you do it yet? Have you done it yet? That's what it means. And then his son answers in the present perfect. I've already done it. You see, it's not a specific time in the past because the time really isn't important in the conversation at this point. The only thing that's important is that it has been done. Now let's look at another example. In this conversation, the first person says, do you and Mark want to go see that new Batman movie tonight? And the second person says, no thanks, we've already seen it. Okay, in the first part of the conversation, the person is asking if the other person wants to see a movie tonight. That's related to now. And then the answer is, no thanks, we have already seen it. The person is using the present perfect when he says we've already seen it because this is a good short answer for saying that they have already seen it, but it's not specific. This is a very natural way that we use the present perfect in English. Now, the person could have replied and said, no thanks, we saw it last week. That would be another way to answer this question. It would be more specific, but it's more of an option if you wanted to say it or not. Let's look at another situation. The first person asks, have you seen my brother Mike? And the other person responds and says, no, I haven't seen him. Why do you ask? And the first person says, I just wanted to know if he has eaten lunch yet. And then the other person responds, oh, okay, if I see him, I'll ask him to call you. Now you can see the present perfect tense in the first question here when the person asks, have you seen my brother Mike? The person's not asking for a specific time, just if the other person has seen him. And the other person replies, no, I haven't seen him. And then the first person follows up and says, I just wanted to know if he has eaten lunch yet. And when the speaker is saying this, really the only important information that he wants to know is if his brother Mike had eaten lunch in the past sometime before now. And that's why he uses the present perfect tense. Okay? Now let's look at one more situation. The first person asks, has Judy ever baked a cake? And the second person responds, yes, she has. She has baked lots of cakes. And last night, she baked a delicious chocolate cake for me. Now, in the first part, in the question, this is the present perfect tense. Has Judy ever baked a cake? This is wide open. The person is asking if Judy had ever baked a cake at any time, not a specific time. Okay, it's very important. And the person replies and says, yes, she has, answering in the present perfect tense. They go on to say, she has baked lots of cakes. Again, present perfect tense. The person is not giving specifics yet until the last sentence here, when the person says, and last night she baked a delicious chocolate cake for me. Now the person puts it into the simple past tense because they are giving a specific time that an action was completed in the past. Okay, now let's take a look at some common words that we use with the present perfect tense. So, do you remember in example number 1, the person said, no thanks, we've already seen it. Okay, we've already seen it. Okay, that already is used a lot. Okay, connecting the past with now. In example number 2, the person said, I just want to know if he has eaten lunch yet. The word yet is used a lot with the present perfect tense. Okay, and the same thing with example number 3. And the person asked, has Judy ever baked a cake? Ever is used here. Again, it's used a lot with the present perfect tense. Now, these words, already, yet, and ever, they also can be used in questions. I know number 3 here is used in a question, but you could also use already and yet, because you can ask, have you already eaten lunch? Do you see? Or you can say, have you eaten lunch yet? All right, see all these things? All right, so I hope this helps you to become more familiar with the present perfect. All right? Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and thanks a lot for subscribing. Remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.